Wait, we're live?
Yay! Yes!
Yep, and I just...
Welcome to Pathfinder 2E Scribes and Scrolls.
Hey there, Internet! It's Jake with Mini Terrain Domain. And he's dead.
I literally started coughing right before I hit the...
I don't die. I can't afford flowers. The exchange rate will kill me too.
Sending flowers even just across the border down to Michigan is... we've experienced the exorbitant cost of sending things just that short distance. No, I will survive if only for your wallet's sake. Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Scribes and Scrolls, our Pathfinder 2nd edition campaign. This is Book 7 Under a Red Moon, Chapter 78, Trolls Do Not Build. And in just a moment, we'll get into the game. Excuse me, obviously, Dwight is still taking a break. He's actually on vacation right now. So Mizya is somewhere with some drow. And
Cavern elves.
Yeah. Cavern elves.
And Ricky's well, not here. So
the bottom row's a little lonely.
No, nobody asked, so I'm just gonna tell you the joke. I'll reveal this for a minute. Nobody asked why, because I always, when somebody's gone, I do little jokes with their names.
I didn't get this one.
Because in the last session, Vornush'ka got the nush kicked out of her.
Wow.
Nope.
See, it makes me laugh. I thought it was great.
It was as close as it could possibly be to a joke.
Wow.
No, I would disagree. It's pretty far from a joke.
I appreciate it, Jake.
When I came up with it, I'm like, I can't wait for them to see that. I just saw M just got it.
I got 5 hours of sleep last night. It's gonna take a little while to get those gears turning. I get it.
See, M is method. M is preparing for that fatigued feeling after a very long, drawn out, near death experience. Kind of the oracle curses all over you. You're gonna be very, very method on this.
We're fucked up right now, I think.
Yeah.
Except Flip. Flip is without a scratch.
So, a couple quick, very quick announcements. First and foremost, take a look up above M, right over there, and you will see our domain tomes. That's this game's version of domain dice, which are a way that you, the viewers, can have a little bit of an impact on the game. If you want to know how this one works in particular, you can type domain tome. There's all the ways that they can use those dice during the game. Also, thank you for Tamiko for showing off in the chat. I finally got around and added some for subscribers. There are 5 new animated emotes in the chat.
Yay!
So we got a couple of those going on there. You get access to those, of course, if you subscribe to the channel. Oh, let's see what else. Oh, type exclamation point schedule to see what games we have going on. We've got Scribes and Scrolls. We've got every other week another Pathfinder game called Sky Metal Iron Gods. We've got our once a month Call of Cthulhu Mythos Investigators, which the current series is a Lawlerville. And then we've got Thursdays is our Welcome to Paradise, Michigan Call of Cthulhu game. Nope. I don't know why I said that. Welcome to Paradise. It's changing. It's becoming a Call of Cthulhu game. Welcome to Paradise, Michigan Kids on Bikes RPG. And that's it right now. I don't have any other announcements. I just want to remind you that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference, whether or not you believe it. It is true. You might be struggling for any reason, who knows? But we want you to know that if you are struggling, it is okay to struggle. It's okay to not be okay, but you do not have to struggle alone. you can come here to our chat anytime. And you can type !help and a couple URLs will pop up. Find a helpline.com and take this.org's growing list of resources. We encourage you to check those out, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend. And remember, you matter. With that, Cari, what time is it?
It's time to find some paths, bitches.
And maybe, just maybe, those paths won't lead you to death, which nearly happened to a couple of you.
I feel fine.
Over the last 5 sessions, you have covered the better part of a day, navigating your way through multiple traps and snares and near-death experiences at the hands of a family of hillbilly ogres. And it did not go well for some of you. Kane was knocked unconscious, Teera was knocked unconscious, and both Teera and Marda were knocked unconscious and started dying, I believe. At one point, Vornush'ka took a massive scything blade to the chest for nearly 70 points of damage. Teera kicked in a door into the already collapsing house and activated all 3 scything blades traps, which were actually 6 blades. Got hit by 4 of them, and Marda was right there with her. Fortunately, you were all able to get out of the house, which was being pulled down by the Tendriculus muck, who had imparted some visions to some of you. First was that he had fallen in love with one of the dryads of the Grandfather Tree's Grove, but then that dryad was captured and antagonized, and Muck's brothers made it look like Muck was a part of it, and so he was cursed and began turning into a plant. Also, it was revealed to both Vornush'ka and to Teera that the entire situation with the ogres was a trap laid specifically to lure you all in, kill everyone except for Kane and Teera, and capture them, orchestrated by none other than Melina Frostheart, aka Teera's mom. So there's some baggage y'all are dealing with. As you ran away, made your escape from the house, with the house collapsing in on itself as Muck the Tendriculus began pulling the whole structure down. Mammy escaped using a Dimension Door spell, and several of her husband's sons ran off into the woods. So the ogre problem was not 100% dealt with finality, but you all made your escape. Rather than going back to the road, you navigated through the woods adjacent to the road, still opting to continue northward on your original goal of heading towards the Skull River crossing to investigate what was causing flooding at Turtleback Ferry. And that's where we left off as you all settled in to set up camp and begin resting. And that's where we're going to pick up, as you are all in, 3/4 of you are in very bad shape. What would you all like to do as you finally get to a place where you feel some semblance of safety?
I am conscious now, correct?
Yes, I believe you were. Wait, were you? I'm showing you as unconscious. But I feel like
I couldn't remember if we kind of glossed over me coming back or not.
I'm trying to remember because you weren't carried. Marda, did you throw a little bit of healing on?
Oh, no, I was carried by Kane. Kane carried me for a while.
Okay, that's right. So you
but then
were.
couldn't go
That's
any
right.
farther. We
Sorry.
made
Yes.
camp.
That's right. You
Yes.
were
Yeah.
fully unconscious. No longer dying. So I think as you're settling in, Flip and Marda, Kane, who had been unconscious and is in a somewhat weakened state because he had been knocked out by the ogre spider's venom, he kind of drops to his knees and then lowers Teera to the ground. I don't think I can go any further. This seems safe enough.
Safe enough. Always inspiring, Kane. My word.
They're such assholes to him. What did he ever do to you, Flip? Sorry, I'm unconscious.
Marda is looking real bad, as she is totally covered in these black root veins that are now just covering up her face. Yes, I think that it is good that we stay here.
All right, sure, whatever you all say. I don't care. Walk, don't walk. Safe, unsafe. Seems to be all the same to you people. So, just lack of judgment and whatnot. You know, raiding ogre houses and collapsing buildings and very small tunnels with creatures knocking on the door. You know, it's not my idea of fun. But I will say it is my idea of a good time.
You see Marta raise an eyebrow.
What? I mean, and Flip is gonna adjust his vest and sort of straighten up his pants and I feel fine. It was a great experience for me.
Right. Yes. I'm sure you will be able to write all of your books and stories and everything.
Books, stories, songs, there'll be merchandise for sure. Flip and the Ogre Madam, I think, is the chapter on this one.
Like a penny dreadful.
Marda nods. I think at this point has been put down by Vornush'ka. I think that we all need some rest, and Teera is unconscious, right? But Teera is stable.
That's why I'm not beating the shit out of Flip right now.
At the moment,
right.
Teera is unconscious. Yes.
Okay. I have a thing. Give me a moment to double check.
While M's taking a moment, Jake, did I see you put character type mugs on our teespring.com account? There are now these cool new logos, but in mugs. We have mugs, stickers, t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, and so much more on teespring.com. Just search Mini Terrain Domain.
They were there the whole time.
I didn't listen. Brand new mugs.
I'm gonna spend the next 10 minutes reviving Teera.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Flip is gonna spend the next 10 minutes watching Marta revive Teera with his feet
Are you
up.
backseat driving?
What are you doing as you
missed a stitch.
Prepare to do this?
So what's very interesting about this, Marda is not doing any kind of magic. This is Marda looks exhausted, and like maybe some more magic would not be good for her, because that keeps happening. So she, but still very adept. Like she's done this quite a few times before. Is like gathering different like herbs and poultices or turning them into poultices, and as she's like patching up Teera's wounds. It takes a lot longer, it's a lot less showy, but looks like it's getting the job done.
As you are preparing everything, Kane is keeping a very close eye on you. And when you move in to anywhere close to Teera, Kane had when he laid Teera down, he had strategically placed himself between you and her. And as you move towards her, with some effort, he sort of sits up, and you see his hand almost reflexively go to his belt where his dagger is. What are you doing?
So I imagine that like she's coming in with like this like handful of like different leaves and roots, and I do not have the energy for you to stab me. If you're going to do it, but at least let me help her first.
Your markings. And he kind of goes like this on his own face. He just kind of, almost like he's indicating where these sort of roots and this corruption, if you will, is on you.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen something similar to that before. On someone that I do not trust. Now, I've seen you heal the orc, and I saw you heal Teera. But I also see you being taken over more and more by whatever that is. I'm going to be watching you very closely.
Well, good. And she like hands him a root. She's like, you can focus on mashing that up. You can still look at me while you do that, but I will need that very shortly for her side wound there. And she continues on.
He just sort of stands there for a moment holding this root and this, I imagine you just gave him like a crude pestle and mortar or whatever. And he's just sitting there like, and he kind of sits down right next to Teera and just starts mashing it up, but he's watching you the whole time.
Yeah, so actually, so I rolled a critical success, which means that I am able to heal Teera for a crap ton, and she will not have the wounded condition.
Oh my god! That's awesome!
So this is one of your feats or traits?
Yes, I am a, what is it? Ward medic?
Ooh.
That's great.
Another layer of the Marda onion gets peeled back. A ward medic?
Ward medic.
She was in nom.
Ward. You said ward?
Ward.
I thought you said war medic.
No.
Florence Nightingale over here.
Right?
And then I have another skill feat called Battle Medicine, which means that removes the
wounded.
I believe so. Let me double check.
CCR starts playing in the background, and we hear helicopter noises as Marda begins digging out roots and shit.
Oh wait, no, sorry, it does not. It does not. But I still heal, so it does not remove the wounded condition, but
Damn.
you heal I am an expert, so that's 4d.
Flip, what are you doing while Marda is figuring out how much she can heal Teera?
Flip is observing this process, and he's providing scintillating advice on potential amendments for the future that would put less strain on the patient and the physician. But he's also noting the corruption that is evident on Marda, and he's thinking that another deep heart-to-heart conversation is coming with Dr. Flip, PhD.
So that's going to be 28 points of healing.
Oh, wow. Awesome, thanks. So am I awake once Marda does the thing? Or no?
So I think technically yes, but I would like you to roll a fortitude check.
Okay.
What is your fortitude?
My fortitude is a plus 17.
Okay.
I got an 11, so that's a total of 28.
Okay. I imagine it after Marda spends quite a bit of time applying poultices and healing salves and addressing specific wounds. You got pretty slashed up. There's a moment, a point where Marda, you have kind of laid the last little bit, and there's nothing more you can do but let nature do its job. And but because of your skills in choosing all of the right materials, you can see that it's rapidly staving off infection, fever, all of that stuff, and even start to see Teera's probably what would have been rather shallow breath and unconsciousness start to regulate. And you got a 28. So I had set the DC at 25. So about 15 minutes later, Teera, you start to awaken very groggily from being unconscious and wounded.
So as Teera's eyes kind of start to like flutter open, she does not recognize where we are, and she kind of like starts pretty rapidly like looking around, and kind of like her breathing quickens, and like she sort of like starts to try to sit up, and I'm sure pretty painfully, and she's like looking around pretty frantically at this point.
As you start to sit up, Kane immediately reaches over and sort of grabs your wrist and kind of puts his hand on your between your shoulder blades to kind of help pull you up into a sitting position. Easy.
Where are we?
As safe as we can be, I think.
Is everybody safe? Is everybody alive? Is Marda was with me? Is she? And Teera is like looking around again, still kind of trying to take inventory of everything.
Did you stay nearby, Marda? Okay.
Oh yeah, Marda's keeping a close eye on Teera. Just take things very slowly. This will feel a little bit different than my usual healing. Going to be a little bit more sore. You smell great, but
is this? It reeks.
Well, I will have you know that is, and then she like lists off like all these different,
I don't mean to sound ungrateful. It just smells like shit. But thank you so
Flip
much.
is as Teera is thanking Marda for her quality work. Flip is gonna say, "Smells about the same from here."
Thank you, Flip.
You're welcome. I just didn't want you to think that I'd lost my sense of humor in that hillbilly house of horrors.
Did we get everybody out? The people we were there to save, were they okay?
Oh no, you were lured into a trap. Yeah, there was no people. I don't think.
Like
Marda, were there people? There were no
never
people,
any
right?
people?
It was only ogres.
Hmm.
It was just the ogres.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a great afternoon for everybody. I loved it.
Yeah.
Teera just kind of gets quiet.
Mizya got kidnapped. So there's that.
What?
I
Oh,
think
I didn't-
everyone looks, yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is the first time I mentioned it?
Vornush'ka's who has sort of been leaning against a tree with her axe next to her, sort of cocks an eye open. What?
Well, I mean, wasn't a kidnapping so much as like, I don't know, a dozen or a dozen and a half cavern elves appeared out of nowhere and said, Mizya, we need you to come with us. And Mizya was like, no, I don't really want to do that. And they were like, well, we kind of insist. And Mizya was like, I'm not so into it. And then they're like, well, no, but really, you have to do this thing and only you can do it. And you're legendary, blah, blah, blah. And Mizya's like, fine, peasants. I don't think they said peasants. They might have said peasants. That might just be my creative retelling of it. Sometimes my talent confuses my recollection. But then they all disappeared. So whether it was a kidnapping or like a forced internment, hard to say. But Mizya's gone, yeah.
Teera, you would recall that you did receive, as you were heading into the barn, you did receive a message from Mizya, that something to the effect of, I have to go away for a little bit. Everything is fine. Yeah. I'll be back. Yeah. It's one of those things where you kind of forgot that you got that email right before you were very busy.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh yeah, wait a minute.
I got it, I read it, but I never responded to it. Gotcha. Okay. So I'm just like, oh yeah. Mizya said something about that. Said they were going away for a while. Shit.
It's fine, I'm here now.
Thank gods for that. Well, how are we going to proceed? I mean, how should we continue on from here?
We're gonna keep going the way we've been going. What other way is there to go? I mean, this is what happens when we take detours. Hillbilly ogres and their house of horrors that collapse on top of us. Random weird bears attacking us. Plant men who call their father their brother. Just, maybe we should just keep going the way we plan to go and not, follow random bears around. Just a thought. I don't know.
Where do we go from here? I mean, we're down one. What do we do?
We keep going east, obviously.
North.
Because, these detours aren't really working out for us.
And Teera, every time Flip says something about all the detours and it not working out and just the bad times, she looks really embarrassed and she looks like she has been made a fool out of, kind of, and she's just sort of like a little sheepish about it. She's like, well, Flip, I mean, it's not like I meant to get us almost killed. There were people to be looking out for,
Yeah, I'm fine with saving people. I saved that whole village pretty much by myself. I help people, but sometimes you just gotta focus on the destination and not the journey, despite what those con-style snake oil self-help books might say.
And Teera would turn then to Marda and just say, Marda, listen, I'm sorry Oh, yeah, I barged in like that, and I got caught in the crossfire. I should have checked for traps. I should have been more careful, and I'm sorry you got hurt.
Listen, Teera, it comes with what we do. It's you have nothing to apologize for. You were trying to help people, your intentions were good, and that's all that matters. We are still all alive, and should've, would've, could've, will just keep you up at night. It's best to move forward.
And yeah, Teera would nod and be like, well, speaking of keeping us up at night, what time is it? We gonna sleep? We gonna sleep here?
It is late afternoon, and you are in a pretty well sheltered part of the woods, and you see somebody roll me d20. I need 3 d20s real quick.
Oh,
1.
7.
9.
You see blue skies, a few lazy clouds as you look up, sort of that looking upward view of the trees reaching skyward. You see a single hawk circling above. You just hear that cry of the hawk up there. No sign of foul weather. It's comfortably warm for the season, and you can tell by the time of late afternoon that if you did start traveling, you wouldn't get very far before nightfall, especially in your condition. With the threat of the ogre homestead behind you, this part of the woods does seem relatively safe.
Hey,
Listen.
Marda,
Hmm.
you got a little something on your, like here and like, sort of, like, just generally here. There's some stuff going on that, I didn't see before. I feel like maybe we should talk about that. Like, an open communication about sort of all of that.
Well, Flip, Marda doesn't have to talk to anybody about it if she doesn't want to.
Well, okay, and you know, I've been pretty gentle with my questions up to this point. But how do I put this delicately? A befouling corruption that seems to be like bubbling up from the surface of her soul onto her skin is a concern if we're going to be sleeping in this safe enough area, which is of course instilling me with even greater confidence with Cain's description of this place.
I'm with the goblin, says Cain.
I mean, look, I like Marda, but it's gonna have to have a talk about this.
Why? It does.
You can see that
She's
like
been helping us.
Marda like puts a hand on Teera's like arm. It is okay, Teera. I appreciate you standing up for me, but they're right. This is off-putting, I think, is an understatement.
Cain leans into you, Teera. The only other time I've seen anything even approaching that was in Shadowheart's experiments. I have questions as well.
And
I'd like to
Teera
hear what she
looks-
has to say.
Yeah, Teera looks pretty torn all of a sudden, but because she's stubborn, she's still like seemingly on Marda's side in this. But she does kind of like retreat a little bit and just kind of is letting this play out.
I will tell you what I know so far, but it isn't much. You will be quite disappointed with my explanation, I'm afraid. 1 second. I have to get rid of this cat. So I have been hearing a voice. Someone has been trying to talk to me to tell me that I have a choice to make, that I am there were scales and I was balancing them. It was all very cerebral in your brain. But this has started to happen when I heal people. It seems as though whenever I do something for somebody else, I get, and she like gestures to her face. I cannot be healed by magic then when I do this, and then when I wake up the next day, it is gone.
Does it hurt you?
Sometimes. But it is of no threat to anyone else other than myself. She kind of shrugs, and that's why I have not been very open about it. I don't know what it is or why, who is doing it. Well, I have an idea, but I am not for sure.
So, just gonna do a visual representation here. On the one hand, you say that it's no danger to anyone. But on the other hand, you say you don't know what it is and you know nothing about it. So this hand seems to suggest you know something about it, but this hand quite clearly says you don't know nothing about it. So I'm confused as to why these aren't shaking.
Listen, I can only tell you what has happened so far. And what has happened is it has not affected anyone else. It only affects me, and it's actually, sometimes it heightens my magic for healing for others.
And sometimes it keeps people from dying. Flip.
I don't understand why you're so aggressively saying my name, Teera. And as she says my name, Flip's Kate billows out behind him. I don't get it. Like, I saved all of you in the town. I saved all of you in the basement. And I'm just pointing out that there's some freaky shit on Marda's face that she cannot explain or understand. My questions are not unreasonable. She literally said my questions were not unreasonable. Why are you?
I'm sorry.
You should apologize, Teera, and I thank you for doing so.
Yeah. I didn't mean to say your name with an exclamation point. Marda, you said you have an idea of who it might be that's behind it. Perhaps. What's your best guess?
She looks to Kane, who, as I recall, when they had their talk, she was super cagey about it.
Yeah, you see Kane just sort of does the one eyebrow up. You know how you can tell when you're talking and somebody just listens a little bit harder? Like, you know, like when a dog's ears perk up, like a person, their head just turns slightly towards you. Kane is definitely paying attention.
I have a feeling, based on, and she looks to Kane. Kane has very similar markings as I do, and I think that it has something to do with Pharasma than doing this.
Ain't Pharasma like the god of life and death and all of that shit?
Yes. It's she is someone who, well, it's a little on the nose, with the scales and all of that. She's yeah, birth, life, death, souls.
All that pass into death are judged into the afterlife by Pharasma.
Didn't... Maybe I wasn't here then. I don't remember, but I have some vague recollection of somebody saying that there was something about souls and Vorn, Teera's erstwhile boyfriend she never even held hands with was like
Teera kind of like puts her hand over and just goes like, yeah, barely touched him.
Vornush'ka just goes, I heard they kissed.
Oh, all right. Well, they got to. That's first base. First base, right? I don't know. What's baseball? Anyways, so there was something about the souls and killing Vorn to force y'all to do something. Am I remembering that right? Or was that like a dream from somebody else?
No. Jake, do we remember that, or was that like a dream?
So, as a refresher, because this is one of those areas that does kind of that happened during the before times in that other realm. You know that the whole reason that Vornush'ka is with you is because, in part, because Shadowheart used magic to, and with a word, killed Vorn for leverage. And then sent his sister to travel with you, to keep an eye on you, with the specific mission of finding out why or who is stealing souls. Somebody is siphoning souls away from the Lady of the Grave. So this is where things shifted a little bit. In this case, instead of the other deity, it is Pharasma, who somebody has found a way to intercept souls that are meant to pass into judgment by Pharasma. And Shadowheart wants to know who and how and why.
Yeah, Flip. Very good remembering. You notice Teera is really trying to make amends with Flip. And she would be like, yes, that was, that's where Vorn's soul is. It's like stuck. I think, as best as I understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, it just all seems very coincidental. You know? Just, all of a sudden, souls and corruption and, negatively affecting positive energy, but boosting positive energy. I don't know. Seems suspect to me. Like it's all connected by some unseen power. I don't know.
Listen, this is not new for me. This is, you know how there are those who are blessed by gods. They become their champion. And then they serve that god, and they get magic from them, and all of that. That is not like me. I have a god that takes a particular interest in me for some reason, for a period of time, mixes it all up, gives me some kind of abilities, powers, but also, and then they leave, and then another one comes, and it's like, so it's all very complicated. But perhaps Pharasma is trying to say something.
So you have been like a champion of other gods too?
Marda nods.
What are the gods? And Teera would like cross her legs and she like looks like almost like a little kid listening to a story at this point.
I think you see at that point, Marta becomes extremely uncomfortable. And is, there have been a few, some a little less savory, shall we say, than others.
I love me some salt. Keep going.
Flip, I think this is the part that Marda doesn't have to say unless she wants to.
Well, I mean, on the one hand, I see what you're saying.
Again with the hands.
But on the other hand, I kind of feel like it all might be connected. So a deeper exploration might be, appropriate here.
I think that Pharasma is who we should be focusing on right now.
I just want to go back to the first hand we talked about.
Flip!
About
Listen.
the hand where you didn't know anything about this situation or why it was happening, because that's the hand
that is
I wanna
not a
focus on.
lie. That is not.
But that's my point. Maybe if we had a deeper exploration of this whole thing,
Teera
we might be able to
stands
get
up
some
to
answers.
her full height and she's like, Flip, if I have to carry you away from this campfire like a toddler, I will.
Flip puts his hands on his hips and he looks up at Teera with the most intense gaze from his sort of milky white eyes. And he's going to say, "Don't make me ask you to sit down again, Teera."
Listen here. You're not going to tell me what to do. And you aren't going to ask Marda any more questions either. She's here, she's helping us, that's the end of that. We don't go rummaging through your past.
I'm an open book, that's the difference.
Yeah,
I'm not
then.
hiding magical diseases potentially befitted upon me by gods and blaspheming corruption everywhere and unable to be healed by positive energy. You know who isn't healed by positive energy? Liches. But that's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying a deeper exploration is warranted, and I'm not afraid of you.
Maybe you should be.
Flip is going to remind Teera of the last time they got in an argument, and she sort of slunk away with her tail between her legs.
Teera doesn't fucking move. I'm gonna fist fight Flip today. And Teera would stand up and be like, Flip.
Yeah.
Enough. It's your choice at this point. Quit asking Marda all these intrusive questions, or I'm gonna beat your ass.
Flip is gonna snap his fingers. And he's gonna say, "We can do this the easy way. We can do this the hard way. Choice is
Are you gonna
yours."
play me a fucking song?
Maybe at your funeral.
For just a second, Teera looks a little nervous.
Kane leans over to Marda and just goes, "Should we intervene?"
If you try something, they're getting out whatever emotions that they have. I think that this might be healthy for them.
Listen here, you green little shit. How about we start digging into your past, huh? How many little Flip bastards you got running around the world? How many girls and how many towns have there been, eh? Mr. Heartbreaker?
The difference is that I don't have anything to hide. The answer to your first question is, I don't know. Probably a lot. The answer to your second question is, a gentleman never tells, but Probably a lot. The answer to your third question is, I don't know if you had a third question, because I stopped listening because the questions were kind of inane and ridiculous.
Flip, the point is, we're all here for our own reasons. Nobody's asked you anything other than me now.
So
And
other
we're
than
all
this
here-
time, you're deeply probing into my past. So other than the time my past was deeply probed, nobody's
And you had it
probed my
coming,
past.
you little green shit. Listen here, if you're gonna do something, do it. If you're feeling froggy, you little shit, jump.
Listen, half-giant. I have no intention of hurting you right now. But I think of the two of us, you've been the aggressive one. And frankly, I don't like it.
And I don't like you being so critical of everybody around here trying to help you. You've been a dick to my brother, you've been a dick to Marda, and there's no reason for it.
Point one. I was not a dick to your brother. Your brother's fine. Point two. Was not a dick to Marda. Marda is also fine. And Marda herself admitted that the line of questioning was valid. And I never pushed it. Never before. But look at her. It's not a stretch to believe that it's possible what's affecting her could affect someone else, including you. So, sometimes, when things are murky, you have to dive face first into the mud.
You know what I think,
And if
Flip?
that scares you, so be it.
Scares me. Talk to me about being scared. You're so goddamn scared of everything in this world that you can't do anything good for anybody else. You're thinking about the future and you're thinking about all the what ifs, and you're worried about what if she's evil, what if she's this, what if she's that, what if there really are no people in there to be rescued, and you'd just be willing to walk by and let people die and let people get hurt and keep writing your fucking songs in your fucking books. You're scared. You're scared to try to do anything good for anybody else, and your life doesn't mean anything because of it. Your life isn't going to amount to jack shit. That's what I think.
You know what I find most interesting about everything you just said? It was raising the possibility that Marta's evil. Because I never said that. Where did that come from, I wonder? From a thought or a recollection that you had yourself? Because I didn't raise that specter. You did.
Go fuck yourself, Flip. Go fuck yourself. And Teera would march off into the woods. She's just beyond frustrated. Gonna go punch some trees, as is her custom.
As you storm off into the woods, Kane kind of gives a look at Marda, then just gives with a sigh, just sort of stands up, looks at you, Flip. You're out of line. You're not wrong, but you're out of line. And he's going to turn and go after Teera.
Flip is going to glance over to Marda.
I've been thinking of making some tea. Would you like some? She says as she
Absolutely.
stands.
I'd love some. Thank you.
She nods, stands, begins to prepare.
Vornush'ka's just sitting there against the tree. I just wanted one of you to punch one of the other. Teera,
Yeah.
you hear somebody approaching.
If that's Flip, if that's you, I am not in the fucking mood.
It's me.
Good. And she just hear like you hear like a hit, and then you hear like the tinkle of like bark breaking and falling to the ground, and then like a couple more, and Teera's pretty pissed off.
You keep that up, Marda's gonna have to whip up another concoction for you. Gods know that she can't. The gods know she can't stand to use magic on you anymore for now.
I'll be fine. This ain't gonna kill me. It never has before. If I hit Flip with even fucking one of these, I would have killed him. That's why I'm out here.
I'm not gonna lie. I'd have liked to have seen you hit the little goblin, but I don't think it would have gone as well as you think.
He's a fucking goblin. He's practically a child.
He's child-sized. So is Marda. There's a difference between being a child and being child-sized. And we've known a few children that could pack quite a punch. Look. Flip's not wrong to be concerned about Marda.
And Teera would sigh at that as soon as he says that, and she would kind of like rest up against the tree and cross her arms. She's like, I know he's not. But she's helped us. She hasn't done anything but help us. I mean, are we going to judge people by where they came from and what they've done? Or are we going to judge them by their actions? Their actions now.
I don't have the energy to judge anybody too harshly these days. Look at where we came from, where we wound up. Look at what I've done. I've been through, involuntarily, some of what Marda's dealing with. When I went through it, it was painful. And I had no control over it. And I didn't get any special abilities from it. I just felt like I was being dragged from the edge of this world into the next. Dangled like bait for something in the, I don't know, spirit world, the underworld. And every time it felt like something was getting closer, that I was losing my touch on this world, Shadowheart would pull me back. Only to do it again and again and again. The difference here, from what I can tell, is that Shadowheart seemed to be working not so much against, but in spite of Pharasma, if that makes sense. Where, and I'm not going to pretend I even understand how any of this magic actually works, but Marda, for better or worse, seems to have caught the eye of Pharasma. Gets to wield some of Pharasma's abilities, but at a price. What that price is, what interest there may be involved in that debt, I don't know. And that's where I think Flip is probably very correct in questioning that. But I don't think you're going to get anything out of Marda or anyone else by getting all puffed up and acting like a dumb barbarian every time you get a little bit angry.
And Teera would kind of smile in spite of herself. She's like, Mom used to call me a barbarian.
Well, you were yelling at the goblin and all I could see was Dad. As you were Dad, not the goblin.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. All right.
He's got another point. But
We can't give him too many points now.
No.
I'll start to agree with him wholeheartedly.
listen. When I first found you, you were with a whole different group of people.
Mm-hmm.
You seem to, for whatever reason, have landed with this group of people. And from what I've seen, from what they've done, Marda especially, who brought you back from the brink of death, well, I hope you stick with this lot. But you can't rescue everyone, Teera. I'm not saying I wouldn't have fallen for the trap. I was there with you. But we ran headlong into a situation based on what we thought a bear was trying to say. And you, without hesitation, ran blindly into that barn. You charged blindly into that room, kicking open the door, and nearly died for it. And I went where you went, and I will go where you go, without question. But if you and I are going to be the ones charging in headlong, maybe we should listen to what the others say from time to time. And I'm no tactician. I'm used to mostly working on my own. But at one point, there were, what, 6 of us? We went in 5 different directions?
That was stupid.
That was not very tactically sound. So we need to figure out what's important. I know what's important to me. Is getting to the Gravelands and finding this mysterious shrine or whatever it is by the blood moon, so I can get a piece of that black lotus, so that I can shield my daughter from our mother. She's already up. She knows we're here. She's going to do everything she can to stop us.
Yes. We'll find. What's important to you is important to me. And these people, these band of misfits, they are important to me too. And then I will make better decisions in the future. It's hard for me sometimes too to make decisions for people around me, not just whatever I think is best.
I'm not exactly the prime shining example of somebody who's made the best decisions in life. But what I've done more lately than at any other time is start paying attention to my mistakes and trying to learn from them. Today Stay was a big fucking mistake.
Yeah, that really sucked. Every part of that sucked. It was the worst. It felt like it went on forever. Like multiple days, even though it was just one.
Definitely.
Oh,
Well,
okay. I feel better. And I think I smell tea.
And I feel like I may have used up any words of wisdom for the next couple of weeks. I don't know where all that came from.
And Teera would smile, and she would put her hand on his shoulder and be like, I think you're more like Dad than you want to admit.
And then as you two start walking off, it's kind of like that shot where the camera stays put. And as you say that, he just kind of shoves into you with his shoulder a little bit. Fuck off. The camera just sort of shifts over, and we just see where the bark is sort of split and broken, and a little piece of the bark falls off as just a little trickle of blood from your fists dribbles down. And we're going to take a late break there. I guess it's not that late. It's like 20 minutes after we normally would. And we had like 20 minutes of downtime, so... We're going to go ahead...
Not even.
We're going to go ahead and take a short break, and we will be back after these messages. There's no messages. Meanwhile, back at the camp, what are Marda and Flip doing while Kane and Teera are having a little sibling discussion in the woods?
Well, Marta's making tea. And once it's finished, she's going to hand a steaming mug to Flip. Just going to sit across from him. I hope you do not take this in the wrong way because I do not mean it. But why are you staying here with us?
That's a great question. I could say that I saw there was clearly a leadership vacuum and you needed help to survive. It would be true, but it wouldn't be the truth. I could say that I need fodder for more stories or songs or books or merchandise, but I don't really. I'm quite famous. I've traveled the land. I don't really need any more ideas, and the ideas that I do have can be embellished, and I'm pretty good at that. No. There's something in my gut that's telling me I've got a part to play in this grand story yet. And I don't know what it is. My gut isn't usually wrong.
So you are going based on intuition. You have a very, you certainly follow your gut, despite everything that has happened.
Yeah, I mean, a normal person would have just left the Hillbilly Ogre House of Horrors. Wouldn't have followed Teera into the barn that was on fire. You know, wouldn't have gone through the tunnel, which was kind of like Pharasma's rectum.
Vornush'ka just speaks up again, just not even opening her eyes. Didn't you set the barn on fire?
We're not talking about what may or may not have happened.
Allegedly.
What we're talking about is what did. The barn burned and we had to go through the tunnel. That's definitely what happened. Yeah. The truth of it is, when I got that vision at the grandfather tree, and I stepped out of that, it wasn't a seed pod exactly, but more of a, I don't know, casing, tree, extraplanar teleportation from tree to tree. I don't know. I just felt a sense of getting you to where you needed to go. Maybe that will end once we find this place with the lotus and the weird stuff and the blood moon. But there must have been a reason why I was the only one who was given a vision of the place where all of you needed to go. Because I surely didn't need to go there.
So you have chosen one syndrome. Is that what?
It's not really a syndrome if it's true.
Okay. That makes sense.
If you are chosen, are you not the chosen? Okay, let's look at it this way. Let's parse the language here. Chosen one syndrome. I mean, there was 5 people. Thinking back. One person was chosen. So not so much a syndrome as much as a fact. I'm not saying I'm necessarily like a hero of legend. I'm not saying that. But the facts are the facts.
So let us say that we go, we get all of this blood, moon, rose, whatever.
Yeah.
I get my mission done of, bringing back a friend.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Teera and Vornush'ka get their brother, and it is odd to me that you are doing this because why? You say you do not need any more books, you do not need to help us be a leader, you are just following your gut, but you must think that there is something out of this for you at the end, no?
Marda, for a long time, I've struggled to fit into the roles that society has placed me. Master performer, actor, singer, writer, psychologist, acrobat, dreamer, magician, painter, contortionist, but sometimes I just have to look at myself and say, sometimes you just have to follow your feet. And maybe, just maybe, they'll take you where you need to be. I'm sorry, I was talking a long time. I forgot. Was there a question? Did you ask me a question?
Yes, and I think you knew my question, and I think you did not answer it on purpose.
Sorry, what was it again? You know what? Probably, yeah. Go ahead, ask it again.
Why are you doing this? What are you going to get out of coming with us? There will be many more fights. I might be evil. Who knows? What do you get?
I didn't ever say that. I mean, you could be. That's a fact. I could be. But I didn't suggest you were. I suggested you might have some similarities to a lich, but I didn't say ever that you were evil. What am I getting at? Look, heroes don't necessarily get things for helping people. Sometimes
you cannot believe that. You cannot believe that. Every hero, even if it is just adoration, look at Teera. She does the right thing because she needs that sense of justice, of feeling like she has done something right at the end of the day. She needs that gratification in her soul. That is what she needs, and that is what she is after. Some people, it is the pursuit of knowledge. For others, it is power. For others, it is prestige. What is it for you, Flip?
Marda, I do because I can.
That is not an answer.
No, I mean, it's a pretty good answer. Sort of been along the lines of the key message I've been sharing for the last little while.
I guess what I'm saying is I do not believe you.
Aha! You think I'm lying? Well, you catch on fairly quick. I am a well-known liar. But you see how honest I am? Tell you I'm a liar right up front. What else do you need to know? Apparently you need to know I'm doing this. Okay, let's see. Chosen one, went down that path. You told me to go fuck myself. Hero syndrome. This is right. I can because I do.
They have all been the same answer. You have not given me multiple answers. They have all been because I can, because I am, because it is being done. That is not an answer.
I mean, it's an answer. You just don't like the answer. You believe there's more to it because perhaps in your experience, along the path that you have walked, you have encountered people who do things because it's what's best for them. Sometimes, though, I don't use the word paragon lightly, But I am someone to be admired. And I have built a legend of myself with the common people of the land. That they recognize that Flip is truly a hero, and perhaps in my deepest heart of hearts, I'm here because I have to live up to myself.
So you want to be known more than you already are.
No. I can't be known more than I am. I'm already known as I am. It's more the truth of who I am. I have these momentous exploits and grand deeds and memorable works of art. But living up to that, living up to the body of work is... It is a challenge. I mean, not for me. Not for me. But
I see. I think I understand. You are afraid of becoming irrelevant. All of these things you have done, if you do not continue to do those, then maybe people will forget.
The corpus of my life will live on its own for centuries after I die. If I ever die, which I probably won't. But that's not what I wanted to say. What I really wanted to say is, my deeds and works shall live on forever. Whether it be in infamy or... What's the opposite of infamy? Infamy? Yeah, infamy. Infamy, get it? Infamy? That's just my lot, is to be the great soul that I am and live up to the potential I have.
I think you see Marda has like kind of leaned back with this like satisfied look on her face as she stirs her tea, nods. That makes sense.
I feel like this is probably around the time that Kane and Teera would start coming back. You'd be able to hear the two of them talking as they're approaching.
I thought I smelled tea. What you two been talking about?
My legend, mostly.
I'm sure that could fill quite a tome. And Teera, like, sits down and, is there another cup of tea in there?
Yeah, Marda nods. Oh, of course. And she is going to get up and pour both Kane and Teera another cup of this tea. I imagine it's some type of, like, nettle or peppermint, something like that. Mint.
Does Marda have a, like, adventurer's tea set?
Yes. You know what? She's been at the university. She always...
If there's anything I know about professors and university students, they need tea.
They're those
and
little those little silicone cups that collapse down on themselves.
Yes.
Amazing. Incredible. Wow. Awesome. So the tea is soothing and good, and I imagine, like, Teera ribs flip a little bit, but is way less threatening than she was a couple of minutes ago.
Unless there's any other infighting or in-depth questions or interrogations or heart-to-hearts, you all sort of settle in for the rest of the day. You're able to set up camp, get a fire going, and the way resting works in this game is you must rest for 8 hours to regain lost spell slots. You also will regain your Constitution modifier times your level in hit points.
Nice.
You do not fully heal. And you still maintain the wounded condition until somebody treats you. And as a reminder, the wounded condition is a number that comes into play if you get knocked unconscious again. It takes one less recovery check for you, failed recovery check for you to die. Normally, you fail 4 checks on that 4th fail, or rather, it's
3.
Sorry, you fail 3, and then you're dying 4, you're dead. If you're wounded 1, then you fail and die at 2 instead of 3, until you receive dedicated healing with a healer's kit. As you are all settling down for the night, are you setting up an equal watch? Is that the plan? Just the usual? What's your watch order? Kane is not going to hear anything from you, Teera, and will volunteer to take an early shift. He insists that you get your rest.
Yeah.
I'm not so good at the watching. I'm more so good at the sleeping. So I'll leave these decisions to all of you. And Flip is going to go into his tent.
Okay.
Okay.
Between Kane,
Fine.
Teera, Marda, and Vornush'ka, that's basically a 2-hour shift each. Marda, when your turn to sit on watch comes up, it's the middle of the night. The fire is burning low, just enough to put out a little bit of light and heat. You can hear Vornush'ka snoring deeply but not loudly. For that matter, you can probably hear at least, imagine Teera and Kane are both snoring away. I don't know if Flip's a snorer or not. I feel like Flip probably talks about himself in his sleep. I'm editorializing, but Marda, I would like you to make a check and double check what this should be. I think I would like you to make an Arcana check.
That is a 14.
A 14. Okay.
Mhm. Yep.
And make a religion check as well.
Is it to recall knowledge?
Technically, yeah. Well, you can use that.
Because I have a thing. But I got a 32.
Okay. What's the thing? Or is that using your thing?
No, Oh, it's just if I get a failure. If I'm recalling knowledge about faith, like essentially I get a 1 step above.
Okay.
what I'd get. Yeah.
As you are sitting around the fire, you can hear the sounds of the forest, the nocturnal sounds, the occasional skitter of woodland animals. As I said, your companions in rest. You start to get a sense of... The closest I can think to describe it is that feeling of being watched. But it's not that you're being watched. What you are sensing is something nearby. The thing that is creating this has a fiendish aura.
Ooh.
You detect a intermingled and sort of underlying the sounds of nighttime and everything else that you're hearing. You're picking up bits of this sort of and it feels like an entity or a presence that is reaching out.
Well, Marda's a curious halfling, so she is going to try and focus on it. Like, now that she notices it, she's going to just kind of focus on that.
Okay. Focusing in on it, go ahead and make a perception check.
$26.
Yeah. It is coming from over by the tree where Vornush'ka has fallen asleep, now lying on the ground.
Oh, no.
As you
Is
look
this
over
similar-
there, next to her is her battle axe leaning up against the tree. And for a moment, that sound almost seems to be in time with as Vornush'ka snores on the inhale of breath is when you're hearing this. And again, that sensation of something that's reaching out. But with that, those combined checks, this sensation and sound and feeling is coming from Vornush'ka's axe.
Marda has heard this before, right? When they were, I think they were in the house, or no, they were in the dining hall. I think she had like sensed this type of
Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah, this energy and this voice.
Mm-hmm.
Marda like kind of laughs to herself. Lip thinks I am the evil one. She like gets up and she goes towards this axe.
Who approaches?
Who are you?
No one. Separate. disconnected.
Disconnected from what?
She sleeps. Forgotten. Forsaken.
Who is forgotten? Who sleeps?
I am forgotten and forsaken. The blood of Vornush'ka forgets.
What is your purpose? Why are you here?
So concerned with everyone's purpose you are. What is your purpose?
She's like looking like closer, like kind of tilting her head at this axe. You are getting a little cagey now, I see.
So thirsty.
Well, if you tell me what is it you want, maybe I can help you.
For generations, I was the symbol of the Blood Axe clan. Wielded by the rulers. Now that she travels with you, she forgets her purpose. She sleeps. I thirst. My purpose: to cleave, to cut, to kill, to drink. I send souls to Pharasma.
That is a reasonable purpose.
What is your purpose? I sense the touch of the Lady of Graves on your soul.
You see Marda kind of smile at this. Yeah, it seems as though that I am in luck this time. I think that I get to choose my own path. And she kind of stands and she just says, and I haven't decided yet.
If you walk the path illuminated by Pharasma, then we travel the same path. Take me. Let me join you on your path. I need you to make a will save.
Oh, don't be afraid to use tomes, Em. Your destiny's in your own hands.
I would just like to remind you that 32.
Oh,
32.
Yeah.
What?
I am very willful, Marda.
You feel that in those words, the blood axe is trying to coerce you into picking it up. And with a 32, you barely are resisting.
What?
You can see that, like, you can almost see, I would say, like, the glint of the axe within Marda's eyes as she blinks. And you can see that she's, like, starting to reach for it. And she says, but that is where you make your first mistake. Did I just not say that for the first time I get to make my own choice? And here you are trying to coerce me into something that I may or may not want to do. Doesn't look so good on your part. She stands. I think that Vornush'ka and I need to have a conversation about you. I hope it will be illuminating.
Oh man, it's like a parent-teacher conference. Fuck.
As you stand up and walk away, do you walk away, I guess, would be the question.
Yeah, yep. Yeah.
You just hear, with each step, the axe grows fainter and fainter, but you just hear it. No, so thirsty, come back here, you bitch. But it has no pull over you. And you do not hear from it or feel its presence because you have resisted it.
Man.
But you've had a little insight into the power of the axe that Vornush'ka wields. And with that, you settle in for the rest of your shift. And the rest of the night passes without incident.
I think after Marda's watch, she's gonna wake up Flip.
Oh, okay.
Guess what, bitch?
Hello?
Sorry.
It is your turn for watch, she says.
Okay.
Oh.
What was it gonna? Yeah.
She nods and she leaves.
Flip, do you even leave your tent?
Fuck no.
We are unprotected.
As Marda heads off into her tent or sleeping roll or whatever, and after a few moments, we hear the soft snores of Kane and Teera, Marda, Vornush'ka, and Flip. We see the flames burning ever lower in the fire, and we see a I'm struggling to come up with a nocturnal small critter, but basically something like a type of mouse scurrying down the tree near Vornush'ka. And it seems like it's about to scurry around to the side. And then there's a thirsty. And this little mouse turns towards the axe and scurries closer, doing that thing where they and as it reaches the handle, it hesitates, and then it scurries onto the handle. And suddenly, from the handle of the axe, several spikes and impale the little mouse. And as the blood runs down it, it's absorbed by these spikes into the handle. And that's where we're going to end this session. Which, as a footnote, I made a note here because of the way this session went. I will be, if you're watching this on the VOD, you will have already noticed this, but I'm retitling this episode Nobody's Fault. And I will I will save this episode title for probably the next session. Since
Incredible. Incredible.
This turned out to be a lot of discussion of faults.
Yeah, lots of faults.
Lots of good character interactions and near POV or PvP.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to be honest.
to be continued.
In that particular case, Flip versus Teera, my money was on Flip. Only
okay.
because Teera, you got your ass kicked that day.
That's true. I had 28 hit points, and I only realized that at the 11th hour, and that's why I was like, Teera storms into the woods.
Teera's like, yeah, I don't really want to fight, but I have to put it up like I want
Teera
to.
kind of secretly maybe agrees with Flip a little bit. Doesn't want to, but she does.
Doesn't that make her a hypocrite?
Listen here.
Or a Flippocrit.
She's human. That's all.
No.
A flipper.
Wait, did you just almost agree to my pun and then just discard it?
Yeah, I
You
did.
salty bastard.
Because Flip isn't a hypocrite. Flip is honest. So it's not the right. I mean, you Teera crit maybe because she was the one who was a hypocrite.
Wow.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you for those of you that were here that weathered the storm of technical difficulties with us. I will fix things, piece them together for the VOD, and they will be none the wiser, except when we talk about it. Thank you, of course, as always, to everyone who supports the channel with your bits and your tips and your subs and all that stuff, earning domain tomes for the players and supporting the channel. If you're somebody that was listening quietly during the stream, lurking in the shadows, we appreciate you and hope you enjoyed the show. And a huge thank you, as always, to these incredible role players and friends. Thank you, Gary, Cari, and though they weren't here with us tonight, they were with us in spirit, Dwight and Ricky, without whom this would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream. You can say it with me if you want. Metadata.